Fractional parts. So when we talk about fraction parts or fractional parts, we're talking about pieces of a whole. Pieces that are the same, equal pieces of one whole are fractions. So there are a couple different words that we call them. So the first one is halves. Halves means two equal parts. Look at these two shapes. The circle and the square are both cut in half. They have two parts that are the same. The two halves are the same. So each piece is called a half if you cut them into two equal pieces. Thirds. You could probably imagine that thirds are pieces that are cut into three equal parts. So shapes or objects that are cut into three equal parts are called thirds. These shapes, both the circle and the square, are cut into thirds. They have three parts that are the same. The three thirds are the same. Notice how each of the pieces is the same size. Fourths. So if thirds was 3 pieces, fourths is 4 pieces. Fourths means 4 equal parts. These shapes are cut into 4 equal pieces. We also call 4 equal pieces quarters. So these shapes are cut into fourths or quarters. They have 4 parts that are the same. The 4 quarters are all the same size. Look at these shapes. Which shape has parts that are in thirds, and how do you know? Take a look at all 3 of them. Which are cut into thirds? Well, the only one that's cut into thirds is this one here, the circle. We know that that one's cut into thirds because it has 1, 2, 3 equal pieces. The hexagon has only 2 pieces. Do you see? Part 1, part 2. And this quadrilateral has 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the circle that's cut into thirds. Take a look at these 2 rectangles. Think about 2 different ways that we could divide this rectangle into fourths. How could we make lines on the rectangle to cut it into fourths? Well, one way would be this, right? We have 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could cut it into fourths this way. This also gives us 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And you'll notice that these pieces are the same size. You may have noticed, but there's also even another way that we could divide this rectangle into fourths or 4 equal pieces. How about like that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 equal pieces. So you'll see that this is the same shape, but you could cut it into 4 equal pieces many different ways. As long as the pieces are the same size, then it's fourths. Okay, take a look at all of these shapes on the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to divide them all into their spots where they go. So the ones that we think are thirds are going to go under 1/3. We'll put the ones that are halves under 1/2 and so on. So let's take a look first at this one. We have 1 piece shaded and there's 3 total. So where would that go? What's shaded? 1 out of 3, which would make it 1/3. So we're going to put that up there. Let's go to this next one over here, the circle. The circle is cut into 2 equal pieces, and that makes it 1/2. Next, we have this square here. It's cut into 4 pieces, and one of them is shaded. So that would be 1/4. Next, we have this square here that's cut into 5 pieces. So this is actually cut into fifths. And we have 2 of them shaded, which means that the fraction here is 2/5. I just threw this one in to kind of show you something that you're going to be seeing in the future. This isn't what we're doing right now, but know that this is still fifths because it's 5 equal pieces and 2 of them are colored. So this wouldn't be 1/2, 1/3, or 1/4. It would be a different fraction. Okay, next up we have this square down in the lower left that is cut into 3 equal pieces and one of them is shaded, so that would make it 1/3. So down here, this square, this one is tricky because it is cut into 4 pieces, which would make it fourths. But 3 of them are shaded, not 1. So it would actually be 3/4. So that would put it under the other fractions. That one's a little bit confusing, but next up we have 1 shaded out of 4, which means it's cut into fourths. So we have 1/4 again. Our next one is this rectangle. It's cut into 2 pieces. We know that if we cut into something into 2 pieces, we cut it in half. So that would be a half. Next up, we have this square here. It's a little hard to see because it's behind the other one, but you can see it's cut into 3 pieces. I'll show you here, 1, 2, 3 pieces. And one of them is shaded, so that makes it 1/3. The triangle here is cut into 2 pieces, so it's cut in half. This square is cut into 4 pieces. One of them is shaded, so we have 1/4. Oh, that one under the other one. Oops. And this last square, again, is cut into 2 pieces, so it is cut in half. Good job. Ticket. I want you to divide a rectangle into 2 parts, 2 different ways. So draw a rectangle and divide it into 2 parts, but 2 different ways.